Awesome. We
Amazing.
can start now.
Yes, let's do it. Apologies again for keeping you waiting, and thank you so much, Mohammed, for being so helpful.
Most welcome.
Um, all right, hello everyone. My name is Nandit, and I'm joining you from London, United Kingdom. It's a bummer that I couldn't be there in person. Maybe next time when we're doing this in person, I would love to fly down and see you all in person as well. So yeah, like I said, I'm joining from London. I'm a solution architect in Power Platform. I'm also a super user in Power Platform. And I basically work for Deloitte, which is a one of the big four consulting firms here in the UK, and it's a global firm. I've been doing Power Platform. It's been 5 years since I'm doing it, and my journey started with Power Apps. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. But I have experience with Copilot Studio, Power Automate, Power Pages, and all the other tools that Power Platform offers. So today we're going to talk about Power Apps, and I just want to show you a simple idea that I was working on around creating a field service app in Canvas apps. So today is day 5 of the boot camp, and I hope everyone is feeling all right. So this session is going to be a very simple one. So we're going to end the day 5 on a very light note. And by show of hands, can I see how many people have tried using Canvas apps before? You can give me a thumbs up or write a yes in the chat. Not a lot of none, no thumbs up on the call. So I'm just going to assume that nobody has tried using Power Apps before. So just a quick introduction to Power Apps. So Power Apps is kind of like a low-code app development tool by Microsoft. So if we go down the traditional path of creating an application, you would need HTML skills, you would need CSS skills, you would need a bunch of resources that will actually let you create the application. But what Microsoft has done is they've created a Power Apps tool for you so that you can create Power Apps, mobile apps, or website apps as a in a low-code environment, kind of like creating a presentation just like this one. So it makes it really easy for us to go from idea to a productionized app than if we compare it with a traditional route. So that's kind of like a quick introduction to Power Apps. So before starting, I'm just going to quickly thank Mohammed and Hiba for organizing this bootcamp. And I'm so happy to be a part of this. This is my first bootcamp presentation, and it didn't go down pretty well for me. As you saw that we were having some troubles, but here we are. We can see the content now. And I think it's going to be a great learning experience for me as well. And I hope it will be good for you. And it was great to hear from other people talking about Fabric, and Arthur talked about Copilot Studio. It's good that we're talking about all the different tools of our platform. So it's great to see that. Now, as we're a bit behind schedule, I'm just going to go straight into it, and let's go through the contents. So in this session, what we will discuss is the power of location. We all know what location is, latitude, longitude. So basically, sometimes it's sort of hard to realize what are the possibilities with that location data, and sometimes we just overlook it. So we're going to sort of go through some basics of what the power of location is. Then we're going to discuss points and polygons. Basically, what are points, what are polygons. Then we will discuss different types of location data, coordinates, GPS coordinates, and so on. Then we will talk about Azure Maps, which is our use case today, which is the control that we're using today in our Power Apps. We will talk about what Azure Maps is. Then we will get into a use case and see the demo. And then I will show you all the properties that I used in the Power App to be able to build that use case. So yeah, we can move on to the next one, which is the power of location. So we all know location. Like we all use Google Maps, we all use maps on WhatsApp to share our location and whatnot. We understand what location is from a personal context. But what does a location mean to a business, a small business which are a service provider, and they actually go out in the field to physically in the physical world to perform some work? What does location mean to them? So if we take an example of a small firm that does, let's say, a field work, they actually go out in the physical world, and there are clients all over, let's say, Riyadh, and they're using Excel to manage all those clients' data. So they have the client names, the address, and everything, but they don't have the location data. So from the address field, they may be able to figure out where their clients are. They might be able to say, all right, our clients are in East Riyadh or West Riyadh and so on, but they won't be able to know where exactly their clients are. Now, just imagine if we add latitude and longitude of all these client offices that we are providing a service to, and now suddenly we have a perspective, like a map in our heads, and we can actually see that 5 of our clients are in the same building. So it helps with resource allocation. It helps you visualize basically where your clients exactly are, in which region, and you can perform clustering on top of that and so on. So yeah, the maps in Power Apps sort of help us tell a visual story. We can use pinpoint locations with icons and colors. For example, for the new clients, we can use green color. For the old clients, we can use a blue color or something like that to quickly distinguish between what type of clients we're looking at. And it gives us better insights into our clients as well. For example, if we have more clients on the west side, and which is something you'll only be able to realize once you put all these latitude and longitude data points on a map, then you will realize that most of my clients are in West Riyadh. And in the East Riyadh, I don't have many clients. So you can make a better decision that you want to pursue more clients in that region as well. So that type of contextual awareness for better decisions is there when you're using maps. And lastly, enhanced user experience. Now, for example, imagine there's a field service technician who has a mobile app with all the list of clients that he has to service in a day, but he doesn't have the location data. So maybe he's going to West Riyadh first and then East, only to realize that there was one more client in the West region. So he'll have to go back. But if he had the location data, he can sort of prioritize his tasks much more effectively. So that's the power of location, and I think Canvas apps can sort of make that actionable as well. So we can visualize those points and polygons in the map and actually action on them as well. But now let's talk about points and polygons, and we're going to go slightly beyond the basics here. Now you must be wondering then that this is something really basic. Why are we discussing it? Apologies for that. Let's just get it out of the way as quickly as we can. So points, what are points? So points are your kind of like your dots on the surface of the earth, right? And it can represent a lot of things. It can represent a location, like you can share your location with someone and it represents a location where you are and they can get to you. But it can also represent events, users, assets like real estate locations and stuff like that. And it can also be enriched with metadata. For example, if you click on a location, it can present more information to you, like what's the price of this particular real estate asset, or so like many metadata details can be shown against a location. And we can also use real-time tracking, geofencing, like use these points to create a geofence so that we know that this is an area that we own or something like that. Then we have polygons. While points are just latitude, longitude, a single point on the earth on the earth, polygons are a bunch of coordinates put together. And in the image, you can see that the blue polygon that you see, the shape that you see, is kind of like is the polygon, and the green and the red dots are your points, basically. So just to quickly visualize what we're going to look at today. So these are your points and polygons beyond the basics. Can we move on to the next one, Mohammed? Amazing. So let's quickly discuss the type of location data that we will discuss today, and the other types that we won't discuss today. So first off, the most basic one is the coordinates. We all know how to pinpoint a location on the face of Earth. We need the latitude and we need the longitude, and that's how we can basically define an accurate point where our area of interest is or our point of interest is. Then we have geospatial data formats. And now this is where things get interesting. So geospatial data formats are basically your polygons, and they use a specific type of structure. So the map that we will use today sort of expects a special type of JSON format as an input to be able to show that polygon, to be able to show that shape on the map. And as you can see on the screen here, I've mentioned a snippet of GeoJSON format as well. So basically, it's just a type of feature then it defines the geometry with coordinates, and we can also pass some properties to it, like cafe name or the owner of the cafe and so on. And we can pass a lot of properties. So basically, once we take this GeoJSON, map it on a map to visualize it, and if we click on that zone there, we will be able to see these properties that we have mentioned in the GeoJSON um, template. So I just wanted to quickly show you. I'll just quickly try to see if I can share my Google screen, and I think I can do that. Yes, and then I'll ask you, Mohammed, to share your screen back again. I think I'm able to share the Google Chrome, but not my screen. So let me know once you can see it.
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Amazing. So I was just using this Google tab to see what the time is in Riyadh. So let me just quickly go on to geojson.io. So it's a really nice service, an online service that you can use to sort of create points and GeoJSON shapes on a map. And it is something that's free of cost. You can just play around with it. So what we'll do here is we'll just go to Riyadh. Welcome to Riyadh, everyone. And what we'll do here is we have a bunch of options on the right hand side that we can use to create different type of shapes and so on. And we will use this third option here, which says draw polygon. We will click on that, and we will basically just map some points here and there on the map to sort of create kind of like a shape for us. And when we're done, we can just click on one of these points again, and this will basically create your polygon. They create your area of interest or anything. And so the examples of this could be, the flooding prone area or a heat map or something like that. So all these concepts that you must have seen on news channels where you're saying that there's a lot of wind somewhere, and even on the news channel you will see sometimes, what are the flood prone areas, and all these applications, all these maps that they show you use polygons. And this is how you can quickly create one. And on the right hand side, you can see that as soon as I created this shape, it has given me a GeoJSON code. And what is interesting for us here is this part here. So basically, this part is a type of feature. It has all the properties. Currently, it doesn't have any, but we can define. I'm not going to do it right now. And then we have the geometry. Geometry is basically a bunch of coordinates that we mapped on the screen, and then it basically creates that shape for you. And at the end, you can see it's the type of polygon. So just wanted to quickly show you how you can create a polygon using geojson.io. It's a really cool tool if you're interested in creating mapping features in your apps and so on. You can use this. You can use this tool. Now back to you, Mohammed. Can you share your screen, please?
Sure, I will. One moment, please.
Sir.
Can you see
Amazing. I can see it. Yes, it's working. So we just discussed the GeoJSON format that we use for the polygons that we draw on the map. And the next type is the sensor data, which is your GPS data, let's say. And there are other types of sensor data as well. And the most common one is the location sharing that we do. Let's say, I'm pretty sure everyone here uses WhatsApp. So the kind of location that we share, basically, the GPS of our mobile is sending a JSON response, which looks something like this that you see on the screen. So it has the latitude, longitude, but it also has accuracy, how accurate the location is. It also tells you the altitude, because we want to know where exactly the person is, not just on the surface of the earth, but if they're somewhere in a building or somewhere on top of the mountain, we want to see that as well. And then the timestamp, basically when was that location taken from the user, and so on. So that's your sensor data. And there are some other types of data as well, like IP addresses, cell towers, place IDs, and so on, which we're not going to discuss today. But today we were going to discuss coordinates and GeoJSON. Can we move on to the next one, Mohammed? Yeah, amazing. So quickly before getting into the use case, let's discuss what are Azure Maps. So it's kind of like mapping service that Microsoft provides, and it's a collection of geospatial services where you have geolocation if you're using Azure Maps in your customer applications, so you can track geolocation of your customers and present personalized feed based on where they are. You can render Azure Maps on other types of mapping applications as well, like ArcGIS, if you've heard of it. Then you have routing capabilities. Now, this is something that we use every day. We use Google Maps, and which is the best example of routing. So if I'm going from point A to point B, how much time is it going to take? How much distance is it, and so on. So Azure Maps also offers that. Then we have the search capability. So you have a map, and you like the Azure map, and you have a search capability. You can search for places and find whatever that you're looking for. Then it's time zone services, traffic. It has layers that you can put on top of the map that will show you how much traffic it is in the city. Then weather services as well, like we said, the visuals that we see on the news when there's a flooding, when we see a heat map on the screen, we can use the weather layer in Azure Maps to be able to show that. And lastly, it's not just about there's a control in Power Apps that we can use for Azure Maps, but there is also a Power BI visual that we can use to be able to sort of show all the points and the polygons in a Power BI dashboard as well. So it's really cool. And Azure Maps is kind of similar to ArcGIS Maps, if you've heard of ArcGIS, but ArcGIS is more enterprise grade mapping service, and it's much more expensive than Azure Maps. And the kind of tools that you get in ArcGIS are much more advanced than Azure Maps, but the choice of the maps basically boils down to how complex your use case is and what type of business you are. For example, if you're into weather reporting, then it makes more sense to have an ArcGIS subscription, so that you can utilize all the data layers that they provide as part of their subscription. So that's a bit about the Azure Maps, and we can move on to the next one. All right, now is the fun part. Now we're getting to the demo finally. Enough talking, Nandit. Let's show us what you've built for us. So we will quickly discuss a use case here. Let's just assume there's a company called Riyadh Digital, and they have a Wi-Fi. They're a Wi-Fi installation company, and they provide hassle-free Wi-Fi installations, configurations, and troubleshooting. And what they want to do is they want to gamify their operations, and they want to create a fun competition to sort of fulfill their backlog of Wi-Fi installation requests. So they have a lot of requests incoming, and they have fewer technicians to work on. But what they want to do is they want to incentivize this competition. They want to create a competition to basically fulfill all these requests as quickly as they can. So just quick key points for this use case. We have 10 field service technicians. We have two groups, five members in one group. We have Team A, we have Team B. Team A is the red one, Team B is the yellow one. Then we have two zones. There are high priority zone and there are low priority zone on the map. So basically, if you fulfill a request in the high priority one, you get more points. If you fulfill a request in low priority one, you still get points, but lower than the high priority one. And then we have 80 backlog installation requests. So this is the use case that we're working with today, and I hope that is all clear. Now I'm gonna share my screen and show you what I've built. And let me know once you can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
Thanks, Mohammed. So what you're looking at right now is a Power App, a Canvas app, and you're looking at a map control that Power Apps provides. And it doesn't require a lot of integration or anything like that. It's really simple to add a map on the screen. Let me just quickly show you how. So I'll just quickly close the play mode. And this is basically your Power App Studio if you've not worked with Power Apps before. And there's an insert button here at the top ribbon, and you can just type map, In the media section, you will find a map control in there. You can just drag it on the screen and connect it to your data source and whatnot, and just visualize something like this. So Power Apps has made it really easy for us to utilize our location data and visualize it. I'll again go into the play mode by clicking on this play button and talk about the demo. So here on the screen, and by the way, we're in Riyadh again. I'm using Riyadh as an example so that it's more familiar to you. And you can see on the screen that we have a few zones. So Zone A, Zone B, Zone C are our low priority zones, and the blue ones are our high priority zones. So any request that the team will fulfill in these zones will basically get them more points. And you can also see that we have a yellow flag here, and then a bunch of blue circles. So these blue circles with the number on top of them basically shows you a cluster. But what it means is, so there are 14 requests in this area. Now, because all of these points are so close to each other, it forms a cluster and shows you the cluster instead of all the points when you're sort of zoomed out. But what we can do is we can go slightly in and see how that changes. Now you can see that these clusters have sort of started breaking down into separate points and giving you more visibility of what's available, what has been done, and so on. And we've zoomed in quite a bit now, and now you can see that the blue points that you see on the map right now are basically your installation that still needs to be done. So the Wi-Fi has not been installed yet, but the flags that you see are the flags saying that the Wi-Fi installation is complete here. And if it's a red flag, the red team has done it. If it's a yellow flag, the yellow team has done it. So it's a really nice way to use this markers on the maps to sort of visualize where our clients are, first of all. Are they in the west region, east region, or are there any similarities? How many clusters do we have? How many clients per cluster do we have, and so on. And it's also easy to see that what's been done and what's currently left to be done. So we can see that 64 is done, 26 is done, so that we don't have to go there. And we can see how many are left, basically. And we're using this map. We can also see that in this area, we have quite a lot of installation that's required, but everything is really close to each other. So we can just send a couple of technicians over there, or one technician to take care of all of them. And this would not have been possible if we were not using the location data to visualize it like that. And one more thing I would like to highlight here is if you hover on top of it, like we talked about properties in the GeoJSON template, we can see much more information about our location. We can see that it's installation type is replacement. So basically, they already have a Wi-Fi setup. We want to replace it with a new one or something like that. And we can see other information as well. And there's one more really cool feature I would like to show you here. So it also tracks where you currently are. So I've hard-coded my location here. So this blinking point that you see is currently my location, but I'm sitting here in London, but I've just hard-coded it to show that I'm in Riyadh. So let's just imagine I'm using this application on the go. I'm out there in Riyadh, traveling in my car, and I have a phone in my hand. It knows my location, and I want to go to, let's say, the Wi-Fi location 37 to go there and install the Wi-Fi. I can click on this button here. It will show me all the details about that particular location on the left-hand side. So this is kind of like a pop-up that I've designed, which takes all the information out of the selected location on the map and shows it to you. Now, the best part about this one is it creates a really nice route for me. It tells me exactly the route I need to follow to be able to get to that point where I want to install the Wi-Fi. And not just that, if you look at the left-hand side, it tells me that it's going to take me 8 minutes to get there. And it's around 3 kilometers away, which is a really, really cool feature. Now let's try to select a point which is slightly far away from my current location and see if that time and distance changes. So I've clicked on a point which is much more farther than that one. Now it's telling me that it's going to take me 14 minutes, and it's almost 6 kilometers away from my location. So it's a really, really nice tool to sort of see where you are, and if you're in the same region, I can basically go and service a location and stuff like that. But yeah, it really shows you the location as well. And there's one more thing that I've done here. I would like to show you. You can see that there's a Google Maps logo on the left-hand side and a button to launch Google Maps. So basically, based on what you have selected on the map, you could actually use Google Maps on that location and actually get to that. So if I click on it, it basically opens up Google Maps with that location, and I could click on directions to actually get the guidance from Google Maps. So if there's a technician out there using this application, they can quickly use this application to see where my clients are and what is currently not installed, and they can click on that location there. All right, I want to go to the Wi-Fi location 45, and they can then use Google Maps to get there. It's as easy as that. On the top, you can see that there's a drop down here, and this drop down can be used to change the type of map that we're looking at. So currently it's a road map, and let's say for some reason somebody has some accessibility needs and they want to see a dark map. So we can select a high contrast dark mode as well to convert everything into dark, and we'll be able to see much more clearly. So different types of layers as well, different types of map styles that we can use in Azure Maps, and to sort of make it more accessible for our users. And one more amazing thing that I would want to mention about Power Apps is you can create responsive apps. So if I click on phone here and click on, let's say, iPhone 12 Pro Max, you can see that this works with phone as well. And it's a really nice experience to be able to use it on phone as well. So it's kind of like your Google Maps. You can use it on your phone, and again, click on this button to sort of take you to that location. And let me quickly show you. I've actually built this app. Built this app, and actually, I'm using this one on my phone. I would like to quickly show you how it looks. Let me remove the background for 1 second. And as you can see, I'm using this application on my phone right now. It's really cool. I can zoom in just like I was zooming in on my phone, and I can see all the zones, all the locations, and everything properly. And I can zoom in further to see all the different neighborhoods where my team is winning or where I have not actually done a Wi-Fi installation. So I can long press on this button on this location to see the details of it and so on. And I can even select it. No, it's not selected. Give me 1 second. I think it should work. I'm facing a lot of issues today in my demos. Yeah. So I've selected a location, and it's showing me that my location is here, and it's showing me a really nice route to get to my location, which is here. And what more I can do from here is you can see that we have the Google Maps like I showed you. I can click on this here, and it will take me directly to Google. And from here on, I can click on directions and get to that location. And one more thing I would like to highlight about using this application on a mobile is that it's actually really responsive. And one of the things that I've heard about Power Apps is that the controls are not very robust. The controls don't work properly sometimes, and so on. But I've been using this app since last night, and if I completely try to mess with it, it doesn't happen. It renders pretty perfectly, and it doesn't lag or anything like that. It's really cool. So yeah, if you're working on a use case where you want to design an application for your technicians that are out there in the physical world doing some work, you can actually use something like this for them to be able to see the locations, click on it, go there, and do their job. At this point, I'm just going to stop sharing. And Mohammed, can we go back to the back, please?
Sure.
Amazing. Thank you, Mohammed. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Yeah, this is the one. So we saw how it was working. We saw the demo, the live demo of it on the mobile, on the desktop and whatnot. But how exactly it is working in the background? And it might seem for people who have not tried Power Apps before, it might seem that it requires a lot of integration, a lot of data and so on in the background to be able to build something like this. But trust me, it is really simple. So what we're using here is we're using two types of data sets, one for zones and one for the locations. And both of these tables sit in Dataverse. So the first table that you see on the screen, you can look at the image as well. We just have three columns there, one for zone, which is a single line text. And then we have the GeoJSON, the type of format that we built with geojson.io. We're storing that. And then just have the color that we want to see for that particular zone in the map. It's as simple as that. So just these three columns, and you can map a lot of zones in your Power Apps Azure Maps. Then for the locations, we have slightly more columns for this one. We have the latitude, longitude. Obviously, we need that. We have the label to show what exactly the name of that location is. Then we have the icon. What type of icon do we want to use for it? The color, and a bunch of other columns here, because for the use case I needed a team name, status, and installation type, and so on. But yeah, in 8 or 9 columns, I was able to visualize all those points and something really simple as well. Can we move on to the next one, Mohammed? And the Azure Maps property. So I just want to quickly highlight here that this application only utilizes one control, which is the map control, and nothing else. So with just one control, you're able to build something so interactive, so visually appealing, and you can use it in your phone. It's actually really amazing. So for the properties of the Azure Maps, what we've done is in the shapes items property, we have just specified the data source. We've just written get the shape items from this table. That's it. Simple. And what do we want to show for the labels? We're just selecting different columns from there. So no hard coding, nothing like that. No extensive coding required, not even Power Effects for that matter. So we're just specifying the schema name of all the columns that need to go in their specific properties. For example, for the GeoJSON, we're just using the GeoJSON column and putting it there. As simple as that. For the locations, similar to the zones one, items, get it from the Wi-Fi locations table, color, getting from this column, icons, get it from the marker icon, items, latitudes, get it from the latitude, and so on. But one thing to keep in mind here is it requires the schema name of the column, not the name that you specified while you were creating your table. So it's so simple to actually do that. And for the routing capability, we saw how you can click on a button, click on a point and get a route. And you can also see how much time it takes and how far it is from you and so on. For that, we're using a default zoom level of 10. We're using info cards, basically on hover of whenever you hover on top of one of these points, you can actually see some more details around it. And the map style that we're using for that one is road. The only code required for that one to be actually see the route is the route waste items. So for the items, we're selecting our location first. Now, because I have hard coded it, I have put the latitude and longitude of the Alfuta region. And then the second one address that we want to select in the route waste item is the location that you've selected. From the map. So that will be map.selected.label, map.selected.latitude, map.selected.longitude. So as simple as that. And then then you just need to specify the column names that you specified in the ways items property. And it's as simple to sort of visualize the routing as well. For the current location, just turn it to true. And the location, latitude and longitude would be location.latitude, location.longitude. You will use the right-hand side part when you want to use your current location. Now, because I hard-coded it, I was using the left one. And these are some of the screenshots from the demo that we just saw. I hope this was able to sort of spark some ideas in your head, and just wanted to show you the things that you can achieve with Canvas Power Apps. And I will, I've shared this back with Mohammed, and he'll be able to share it wider with you. If you want more guidance on how you can achieve this or anything else in Power Apps, I write a lot about Power Apps in my blog. I will share the link to that and my LinkedIn profile. But yeah, it was lovely to be here, lovely to present with my first bootcamp presentation, and I will always sort of keep it very close to my heart. And yeah, I open the floor for any questions.